Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inc. Today we're talking about Chevy's version of what everybody else is doing. All right. Yesterday I put out a video in regards to the Ram Rebel. I went and took one of those for a drive and where that kind of slotted in underneath the Power Wagon. And I'll tell you this much, over the last few years I see this push, and there must be a market demand. So the consumers are saying, hey, we want a quasi-lifted truck that isn't quite a Power Wagon, but kind of is a Power Wagon, and this and that. So all the manufacturers went out and did it. Truth be told, though, the Power Wagon's been around forever. I mean, it brings back way. So that when people thought that was coming out, I don't know, a decade or so ago when they brought it back, that thing's been around forever. So I mean, when they came back, they had some different versions of it here and there, but I mean, that truck is really, been around for a long time. But apparently there is a market for it. Chevy's already had the ZR2 badging on the half-ton and the Colorado. GMC, of course, the sister truck is going to come out with the AT4X. And again, just like with Ford, you have the Tremor. And the Tremor does add a lot of different off-roading aspects over, say, a Sport or FX4. And, of course, the Z71 AT4, people say, well, that's just dressed up, cowgirl truck, whatever. I don't care. I don't off-road. Again, when I go out to Moab, I just rent somebody's Rubicon because I'm not doing anything technical. And, frankly, if I do something, heaven forbid, something happens, I pay the insurance deductible and I'm on my way. But apparently there is enough demand that all of these manufacturers have said, you know what, people want to take our crew cab short bed 23, 24, 25 foot long pickup that's wider than a boat in a harbor up a small trail and off-road with this thing. Now, I will tell you this much, back when I was selling Fords and selling Ford Raptors, I would have people come back 2 weeks later with a busted frame because they thought they could jump this thing like Evel Knievel. It's like, these trucks are not made for that. I mean, yeah, they're more, they have a lot more pizzazz to them so that you can go off-roading. In theory, they're not made to jump stuff. They're not going to handle stuff as well. They're not going to tow as much as your standard HD. So again, where these fall into, these type of trucks really don't fit any type of need for me because I don't like the noisy tires. I don't like lift kits all that much because a lot of these are coming with some type of like off-road running board or zero running boards. That's a Rebel thing. They don't even send it with running boards because they want it to look more off-road. Well, who the hell's getting in this thing? My wife can't climb up that thing. So it's kind of crazy, but I mean, they are cool looking. Don't get me wrong. So if you're the guy that's buying this thing because you just love the look of it, I think it is sick. The ZR2 is really cool. I thought the Rebel was really cool. I think the Tremor's neat. But then again, like we've talked about in other videos, when you are trailering and you have your lifted truck up here and your drop hitch down here, if you're doing conventional towing, or if you have your fifth wheel, now the truck's and the trailer's sitting like this. I mean, my Z71 with 20s on it already puts my trailer at an unleveled disadvantage, and that changes trailering dynamics. So big news as of yesterday, the first off-road focused bow tie branded HD truck has broke the ground. Well, not really because everybody else has already been doing it, but it is GM's third addition to the ZR2 family. The Colorado was first, then we had the half-ton, and now we have the ZR2. And then again, GMC is going to have the AT4X. And so they're saying that production has officially begun. However, the production actually kicked off in 2023 in August. And that has actually happened at the Flint, Michigan plant, not in the Canada plant, which I guess is good. Somebody a while back was like, hey, did I read that right on this truck you're looking at? It was made in Canada. I'm like, yep. GM has plants all over the place, just like everybody else. Most of Ram's trucks are still made in Saltillo, Mexico. So take that for what it is. I've had a lot of Rams, and I think those people have a lot of pride in their work. So as long as people at whatever plant, wherever they're at, have pride in it, again, they're just trying to make an honest dollar. So I'm cool with that. So 50 units, GM has confirmed, are already en route to dealerships across America. And basically, let's talk about what it's going to add. A lot of people on the Z71 don't like the, what is it, Rancho shocks on there. They basically fall apart. I really could care less. I mean, I usually ramp up these miles real quick and move forward from a vehicle because I've already proven that it can go. So I don't really deal with that. But I know that Rancho shocks are more name than they are good at anymore. Back in the day, they were pretty good, but that was a while back ago. So just like the other vehicles, you're getting the multi DSSV dampers, which again would be kind of similar to what Ford's offering on their half-ton Raptor, which is a very big difference from what Ram's offering on their Rebel and their Power Wagon, which is like Bilstein shocks and stuff like that. So these dampening type suspension pieces, they're pretty sick. They're pretty wicked for what they do. Again, you're moving around a lot of weight. So you're also going to get an upper front and lower control arms and steering knuckles that are unique to that version. Again, underneath the Rebel, I really couldn't tell in a lot of areas where it was an upgrade over the Power Wagon. I could see where it was actually basically, or sorry, a normal vehicle. You're also going to get a larger steel transfer case skid plate, a front aluminum skid plate, a rear e-locker, and 18-inch aluminum wheels, which is kind of funny because that's what the size is on the Rebel. And 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT tires, which if they're just as noisy as those Duratracs, that's of no use to me. But, you know, if you like hearing a hum instead of hearing your family talk, then that's the tire for you. So nothing to surprise here. The trucks are going to be either equipped with the 6.6 LAT as the standard gas engine, which if you've seen any of my other videos, go watch them. They tow great, they drive great. Again, fuel economy is very, very fair compared to this, but again, add all of this extra weight, wheels, tire combination, and again, I think that's going to affect fuel economy, but you're going to get plenty of a robust engine. The L5P Gen 2 6.6 Duramax will be an option. You can add that. I think that's usually about $9,700 from Chevy or GMC. And of course, you have 401 horsepower, 464 pounds of torque out of the gasser, and the banging 470 horsepower and the 975 pounds of torque out of the diesel version. You will also be happy, and I don't care what anybody says, the Allison 10-speed will be the transmission for both of those, no matter what one. That's the standard transmission, and it is exactly the same. I think it's the Allison 1000 transmission. I've confirmed that, period, over last year. It is a genuine Allison transmission, and before you all go into things saying, no, Allison doesn't stamp their name on this anymore, you're right, they don't. But GM owned Allison for all of its life and sold it a handful of years ago, but who do you think had the deeper pockets there to design this transmission? Allison, who was owned by GMC, or Allison, which was nothing without GMC, or sorry, GM. So it is an Allison transmission. That transmission is awesome this year. What they've done with shift points and everything like that, you know, grade braking and everything, downhill descent control, fabulous. So you have nothing to worry about there. They are saying that the ZR2 equipped gassers are going to have a starting point of $72,595. That's with destination already in there. So destination is usually like $2,000. I think $1995 is GM's version for the Chevy version, and the diesel version is $82,095. Yeah, so you're talking about $10,000 in regards to that. Now, the point I basically say is where does this truck fall in the market for me? It doesn't fall in the market for me. Other than seeing him drive down the road, I'm like, man, that's wicked cool. Has no desire for me. Reason being is you go to the diesel version, and this is wonky. So on the Rebel, on the Ram, you lose payload, you lose towability almost by 2,000 pounds. Going with the diesel Cummins Rebel over that. Ford has figured out a way to only lose maybe a couple 100 pounds going from there to their Tremor. So if you go from an FX4 or a Sport to a Tremor pack, you don't have to lose much. Well, the Chevy version of it, so if you get the diesel, your max towing is 18.5. My gas-powered regular truck is 18.5. So kind of wonky there. I don't know about payload numbers, but with that dampening suspension, I can tell you it's substantially less. It always has been, especially on the 1500. But when I was selling the Colorado, I wasn't in the game back selling the half tons yet because they didn't come out until a few years ago. But when I was selling the Colorados, the payload changed dramatically, and usually the towing went down. This is nothing different here. The gas-powered version of the ZR2 is only going to be able to pull 16,000 pounds. Again, both of those numbers are still astronomically high because I don't think most consumers are pulling that. But say you're the guy or gal that's taking this truck up to Utah and you want to pull some UTVs or dune buggies or whatever, it's going to do, either one of those versions is going to pull just fine for you. If you're the human that's going out and buying a 40-foot fifth wheel and wanting to pull, you know, 18,000, your off-road tires are going to get chewed up quick. They're softer rubber. They're not going to last as long. So just keep in mind that all that extra towing, this truck is not, your go out and cruise cross country towing truck. This is kind of the guy that likes to, or gal that likes to go off-roading. Maybe it'd be a perfect good ranch truck. I don't know. So you can drive through brush and stuff like that. To me, it just doesn't fit a niche, but it is fantastic looking. I will put a few links in there from some tow tests that we've done. I've taken the LAT up and over Wolf Creek Pass, Eisenhower Tunnel of the Ike. I've taken on the plains. I've taken everywhere pretty much in Colorado. Racked up about 10,500 miles really quick in that in like 4 months. It's been an excellent engine. So if I was in the market for an HD truck right now and it had to be gas, it'd be GM. And if ZR2 is the guy, then I would say you're going to be plenty happy with the gasser version. And again, the reason why I say this is not going to be your hauling ass doom buggy type pickup. So when you get these new modern diesels and you're rock crawling and stuff, the gas engine has plenty of torque, but you're going to have to deal with a lot of regens, and that creates a lot of heat. So you're going to have to keep that in mind. I'm sure cooling is not going to be an issue. I'm sure GM's figured that out. But what I'm saying is when you're out in the brush and you're creating a lot of heat underneath it, could you cause a fire? Could you be doing that? I wouldn't even mess with the diesel. In this version, it has no real realm of reasonability. You get 2,500 more pounds of towing, but again, this shouldn't be your first choice of hooking up a fifth wheel and being like, oh, we're just the weekend we're pulling to the campground and I just like the looks of that. I would just go with an AT4 or a Z71 Chevy and kind of tweak a few things because they're already gigantic trucks. So there is the news on the ZR2, guys. Smash the subscribe button down there in the corner. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next one. Check out the links below in the description for other great videos. And yeah, thanks for being here.